And that's going to be hard for your heart. Not everything deserves access to your life. Discernment will protect your future. Some distances are actually healthy. But we're all sensitive, tough guys and gals. So if we say someone or something isn't healthy, we think we're disappointing them. Self-preservation, you struggle from that all the time. I got to go back there to take care of them. Next thing you know, we got a crack pipe in our mouth because we went back there to love on them. You hang out in the barbershop, you're going to get your hair cut. I struggle with it too, brother. You and I are the same. Another thing that in this season of scattering stones, risk must be avoided. And all of us are risk takers. It says the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. So what does prudent mean? Prudent means you think before you act, but we're not good at that either. We act and then think. Just like I said earlier, we go do it and then ask for wisdom. And then we always are living in hindsight, not foresight. Wisdom lives in foresight. So risks in this season of scattering stones must be avoided because wisdom will take a step back before the damage happens. Prevention is stronger than repair. Let me say that again. Prevention is stronger than repair. Ignoring these warning signs births consequences. All of us have the freedom of choice, but we can't choose the consequence of that choice. So in the season of scattering stones, we've got to be prudent. Another thing we have to do is we got to get rid of divisive influences must be released out of our lives. Some of us are addicted to drama. We like hanging around people that gossip. And what it's saying now in this season, all seasons in my opinion, but you can warn a divisive person once and even warn them a second time that somebody's trying to cause division, but after the second time, the Bible says have nothing to do with them. And that's a hard thing. Peace sometimes requires separation. You cannot heal when you're surrounded by chaos. Letting go can always protect your progress in this season. Another thing we need to do in this season in 1 Corinthians 10, permission doesn't always mean you have to. Just because you got permission to, I love The Equalizer. And he went to see his mentor. There was a helicopter. I don't know if he flew in or whatever. And the lady's husband, when he was leaving the property, he was sitting on the step with her, and then he left. And then she walked back into the house, and her husband asked him, "What did he come for? Did he come for advice?" And she said, "No, he came for permission." I'll never forget that scene. But just because we have permission, just because we can do it, doesn't mean we should do it. And now this is a fleshly comment that I'm going to say next. Sometimes knowing you can is actually better than doing it. I know that's not right for me to say, but I just had to be fleshly. Because the Bible says, I have a right to do anything. But not everything is beneficial. I have a right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Freedom requires discernment. Healthy limits really create long-term stability. I'm speaking to hundreds of people tonight that have all the talent in the world. But you have to exercise restraint. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And now we talk about there's a time to gather stones after we scatter stones. What that means is you intentionally build strong foundational relationships in recovery. You're starting to gather people around you to establish the we of the program. Now, this is different than scattering stones because now you're intentionally building strong, solid people around you. Who you hang around with actually matters. In Hebrews 10, community during this season must be strengthened. You cannot expect a mainline blessing with a sideline commitment. Like I said, we were all in our addiction. We got to be all in. And now it says, let us consider how we may spur each other towards love and good deeds. Let us not stop meeting together as some of us have a habit of doing. How many of us have a habit of stopping going to meetings? See, I love to see Erica back here. She moved out, but she still comes. Let's give her a hand. And that's a blessing to see, because when we come to these places, hopefully we obtain encouragement. I don't think my goal in life is to never speak negatively about you. Oftentimes when I see you, especially the men, I say, you look good. Being complimented is a blessing. It's great to see Matthew. He's been working day or night, but to see him again, let's give Matthew a hand. That's a blessing for you to be in the house. Because when you're not here, you're missed. There was a time when people didn't say that about Matthew and I. They were glad that we weren't here. They were celebrating the fact that we didn't show up to the family events. But we have to understand that community must be strengthened. Growth thrives in connection. You're only as powerful as your connections. Support systems will help you build resilience against the things that are trying to destroy you. We get stronger together, not alone. That's a we program thing. Psalm 133, unity must be cultivated. Obviously, scattering the division, and let's birth unity. God is not the God of disorder. How pleasant it is, it says, when God's people live together in unity. So unity is very important. Unity in a group of people will build momentum. Healthy relationships create a safe ground to stand on. The peace that you will experience in places like this will actually catapult your progress. In Ephesians 2 now, foundations must be aligned. As we go forward, Pastor, we must be aligned. There's nothing worse than a group of people that are not aligned. Wade, you know that as a business owner. If everybody ain't beating to the same drum, you're going in different directions. But in order for everybody to beat to the same drum, Tony, the people have to be heard. Because if guys like you and I are the only ones making the decision, we are limited. And there is so much insight in this room, so we have to understand now that this unity and this peace. But now in Ephesians 2, a foundation must be aligned. It says, consequently, you are no longer foreigners or strangers. You're accepted here. We don't care about what you did. Unless you want to tell us, we're just going to love you. Just like somebody loved us. And you cannot keep what you have unless you give. So you're a foreigner or a stranger if you choose to be one. But you got to put yourself in the middle. It says we are fellow citizens of God's people, and we are members of one household. The problem is a lot of the households we came from were dysfunctional. Quite frankly, all households are dysfunctional. So it's hard for us to get together as a group and not cause division because we come from division. And we are creatures of habit, and when we have to understand now, but built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets. Strong foundations create lasting structures. Alignment determines stability. Build what will support your future. If you want to know your future, look at who your friends are. You can never rise above the company you keep. You should be in rooms that intimidate you. I should be in rooms with a lot of people more, and I ain't even that smart. You're smarter than me. I love learning from people. I love being around people that have gone before me, know much more than me, and that's really building the foundation. And in Acts 2, it says, healthy practices must be consistent. It says they devoted themselves to the teaching. I'm devoted to the 12 steps. I'm devoted to the Bible because the 12 steps have been devoted to me. But I can only extract what I'm willing to put in. God will only fill you to the level of your hunger. And you got to be as hungry for program of recovery and God and the 12 steps as you were as hungry for heroin. And at the end of the day, we got to be devoted because we were devoted to our drugs and alcohol. We got to be devoted to our recovery. Devotion creates direction. Consistent practices shape strong lives. Whatever you prioritize grows. When Pastor Blair did his series, and one of his sermons was the Hall of Faith, basically, and what he said about me was, I've never met anybody as focused as you are, which it was humbling to hear that, because whatever you focus on will grow. If you're negative, you'll become more negative. Whatever you give your energy to will give its energy back to you. And we have to understand now that I love energy. I love vibe. And when I'm around a low vibe, which it's unrealistic that we can always have, it's like, I'm grateful to be above ground and out of prison. I'm grateful that God picked me up and turned me around and placed me on solid ground. I'm grateful that he gave me 100 chance at life. I'm grateful that God gave me a place like this. I'm grateful that God gave me friends like you. I'm grateful today, and if you're grateful, you're going to have a vibe. It doesn't mean we all have the same personality, but we have a vibe. We have an energy. When you get hundreds of us in the same room that should be dead, something happens. And at the end of the day, it's unrealistic to think that every day is going to be a great day. A lot of us are suffering for bipolar. A lot of us have anxiety, if not all of us. We all are there. So who better than us trying to figure it out? We're not all going to be low at the same time. We're all not going to be up on cloud 9 at the same time. But we balance each other out. And that's really the we of the program. And what I've learned is that whatever you prioritize will grow. And now there's a time to embrace. What that means is you learn now to lean into healthy relationships. Because remember, you're no longer a stranger or a foreigner. God has accepted you. And at the end of the day, in the season of that it's a time to embrace, empathy must be embraced. We got to be empathetic to our brothers and sisters. No one in this room is any better or any worse than anybody. Quit judging people that relapse, because you're really judging yourself. And at the end of the day, we have to understand to rejoice those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. One of the recent funerals I was at, I ran into my old boss, and I think I told you about that a couple weeks ago, and we're sitting in his partner, which also was my old boss. We're putting dirt in the grave, and we actually were out of pocket because I hadn't seen him for 15 years, and we were talking about after we did it, we're sitting above our friend's grave, and we started giggling because we were thinking about something that he used to do, but that wasn't the time and place. I should have been mourning. Sometimes it's hard for me to mourn. I didn't know what to do in that living room this afternoon. My friend is dying. I'm not good with that. So I don't pretend to be. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say to her son who was sitting 12 inches from her, watching his mother die. But I watched you. I watched you take those pictures and give comfort to her sister and her son with empathy, with love, with care. So that's why it's good to be around people that are good at things that you're not good at. You kind of balance each other out. I'm sitting there like a bump on a log not knowing what to do, and she's bawling, bringing the whole family together. You got to recognize your limits. You got to know what you're good at and what you're not. And what you're not good at, bring somebody in your life who is good at it. That doesn't mean you're a failure. That just means you're a person. And at the end of the day, that's where you will experience this completion in your life. But this time to embrace means we have to be, presence mattered. So it didn't matter that I sat there like a bump on a log. At least I was there. At least I was there in the room, even though I didn't know what to say. And I didn't tell you this, Shauna, when I went back there to bring them dinner after my meeting, it was important that her son got connected with me. And I gave him my number. I don't really know him that well. I said, your mother wanted to make sure that you're connected to men. And she perked up. And then I went to her ear, and if you would know this woman, some of you do, I said, Daniel and I are connected. You know what she said to me? Because she's got sass. Quit yelling at me. So there was this humor in this moment when there is the spirit of empathy. And I'm not good. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not good at this stuff. I don't know what to do. In this season of embracing healthy communications, I'm making an agreement with all my teams professionally and all my friendships. Let's just get real with each other. Let's just get honest. If we hurt each other's feelings, let's just talk about it. See, our children are growing up. They're going to talk to their computer about it. We need to talk to each other about it. It says, let your conversation be full of grace. Like I told you, what you taught me on Friday afternoon. When you said somebody's out of character, that just means we got to give them more grace. I appreciated that lesson in life. It says, let your conversation be full of grace, seasoned with salt, so you can answer to everything. You know how freeing it is not knowing that you gossiped or not knowing you talked smack about somebody? If you do that, you always got to wonder, are they going to find out? But when you don't do that, you're free. You don't have to worry about anybody finding out. And they always find out. It's loose conversation. So whoever you're conversating with is being loose with you, and they're going to be loose about you when they tell somebody about you. Say, use wisdom. And by chance, if we're emotional in the moment and we say something we shouldn't, apologize. Say apologize. And at the end of the day, words can either heal or harm. I choose to build people up. Words can either heal or harm. Grace creates a safe space. Basically, Pastor, how you speak shapes what you build. If you speak life, you will have a life. In this season, encouragement must be embraced. It says, therefore, encourage one another. Build each other up. God loves that when you do that. He loves it when you build your brothers and sisters up. In a world that does the absolute opposite, we need to get better at this. If my grandma told me this, if you ain't got nothing good to say, keep your mouth shut. My aunt and uncle over to dinner, and it was a beautiful thing, and she's like a mother. My mom's in heaven, and we sat for 3 hours last night. I've never done that. And just talked about life. That's new to me. It's a blessing. And I'm not crying over spilled milk. They're like, oh, I missed out on it. No, I just wasn't ready for it yet. But I'm ready now. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying anything negative about this, but at the end of the day, when you learn these things, you build people up, you don't tear them down. Philippians 2:4, selflessness must be embraced. Sometimes we got to think about ourselves less. What do you do that's not about you? And it says, don't only look out for your own interests, but each of you should look out for the interests of others. Basically, relationships flourish when selfishness shrinks. It's a beautiful thing. Consideration creates connection. Maturity thinks beyond itself, but there's also a time to refrain from embracing. That's going to be hard for us. That's hard, Grandma. For your heart, that's hard. But don't change that heart. See, refraining from embracing means knowing when to step back. That's hard. Because when we do that, we think we're failing everybody. But in this season of refraining from embracing, Tony, you and I have talked about this. 1 Corinthians 15, influences around your life must be discerned. Don't be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Again, we're not better and worse than anybody. I ain't got time for this. I'm mission motivated. And if this does not equate to the mission, I can't be part of it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't just affect us, it actually infects us. not every earthly connection is healthy. Whatever you stay close to actually shapes you. Protection of self sometimes requires distance. And that's hard for us. 2 Timothy 2, temptation must be avoided. Flee from evil desires of your ears. It's time to grow up. Say, grow up.
Grow up.
Say, grow up.
Grow up.
Faith, love, and peace, and a pure heart, he says. Proximity increases vulnerability. Let me say that again. Proximity increases vulnerability. So we have placed this man right here that just got 1 year sober in proximity of vulnerability and transparency. When he was first placed in proximity of vulnerability, he didn't know how to be vulnerable. But last Wednesday night, we continued to put him in proximity of vulnerability and realness and love. And last Wednesday night, when we gave him his 1 year chip, he got vulnerable because he's been proximity of vulnerability. But the reason why he didn't like being in proximity of vulnerability, because when he was a little boy, that wasn't safe.
Right.
So there's reasons why we do what we do. But if you get around this vulnerability enough and you're in proximity to it, but whatever you're in proximity to, you're vulnerable to. And we want to be careful. Wisdom knows when to walk away. You don't have to prove that you're strong by staying. And when I began to study this, it blew my mind. And Proverbs 4, destructive paths must be avoided. Do not set foot on a path of wicked things. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. And go on your merry way. Some roads just aren't meant for you. Basically, early decisions in these moments really you avoid future damage. Your discernment in these moments will protect your destiny. Romans 16, division must not be entertained. I already hit this earlier, I'm going to hit it again. I urge you, brothers and sisters, Romans 16 says, watch out for those who cause divisions. They hang out together. They put obstacles in your way, and they try to pull you away. You see, unity is too valuable to risk it carelessly. Peace sometimes means stepping back. Healthy boundaries protect progress. When I watch this happening amongst people, what I've learned is this. There is nothing that you can tell me about this man in the front row. There is nothing that you will ever tell me the rest of my life that will sway me from him. And if a person can get swayed from a relationship because of something that somebody said, they were never told me. Those that matter don't care, and those that care don't matter. Sometimes everybody can't go with you. And God's in rooms that you and I aren't in. And here's conversations that we don't hear. I don't have time for this. Oh, yeah, they did this, they did that. Well, if they did that, you know what? I'm going to pray for them. That's all I got to say. And next time I see him, I'm going to give him a big hug, just like somebody did for me. Who am I not to extend the grace that has so freely been given to me? And if you don't extend the grace that was so freely given to you, you waste the grace. And you'll take up space. And you won't know how to run your race. And it'll never, ever, ever work out. So at the end of the day, that's the beautiful thing about us. We've done some things that we're not proud of. We've let some people down. But there's also a time to search. Actively seeking truth, help, and direction. Jeremiah 29, God must be sought when there's a time to search. You will find me. God ain't hiding from you. When you seek me with all your heart, not half your heart. What you pursue shapes who you become. Half-hearted seeking produces limited results. Direction is found through diligence. Proverbs 2, wisdom must be searched for. You got to cry out for wisdom. Clarity requires effort. Wisdom is discovered by those who value it. Intentional seeking prevents repeated mistakes. Psalm 27, focus must be prioritized. One thing that I ask God for, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I ask God to give me the strength to seek him, because there's so many distractions. Now, if you know God, you know he knows it's in your best interest to seek him. Not because he's got an ego, he just knows who he is. So he will give you the strength to seek him if you ask him. There's so many different distractions in the world today. Focus creates momentum. Scattered energy produces scattered results. What you really seek will shape everything else in your life. Matthew 7, persistence must be practiced. You seek me, you will find me. Consistent effort opens closed doors that you don't have to force open. Growth favors persistence. Breakthrough requires continued pursuit. I mean, I didn't quit smoking crack when the crack man cut me off. I found a different crack man. I was in pursuit of crack. I should be in pursuit of God at the same level. And at the end of the day, I've learned that over time by being around you. But there's a time to give up. It doesn't mean you lost. It doesn't mean you're a loser because you chose this and you gave up on that. So there's a time to search, there's a time to give up. Letting go what's not working. Quit trying to put a square in a circle hole. By now we should know this isn't meant to work. And at the end of the day, weights must be released. Not everything is meant to be carried. Release creates room for progress. Letting go can actually increase your speed. Philippians 3, the past must be left behind. The windshield is much bigger than the rearview mirror. Don't let your past dictate your future. Actually, let you get in flow with God. Your history will actually benefit you. And at the end of the day, we have to learn this, that we got to create space. The past must be left behind. You cannot move forward with clean back. Fixation blocks momentum. Let it go. Say, let it go. Let it go. Psalm 46, control must be surrendered. Be still, God says, and know that I am God. God says, I got it. You already missed it. And don't try to fix it. Let me take care of it. In the meantime, seek me. Seek people that are seeking me, and I'll take care of that for you. When you go do it, Jeff, you mess it up and make it worse. You see, not every battle is meant to fight. The battle is God's. We just got to seek him. Stillness builds trust. Surrender produces peace. Burdens must be handed over. We're carrying too much. Exhaustion is not a strategy, it's a signal. You're carrying too much. You need rest. So where are you at today? 2 Corinthians 6. In this season, should you be gathering or scattering? I don't know. Talk to your sponsor. Talk to God. Just don't make the call on your own. Paul says, therefore come out and be separate. Touch no unclean thing. Your separation from that is your step towards your sanity. You cannot heal an environment that's harming you. Distance protects destiny. Not every connection is meant for life. Obedience is sometimes stepping away. Whatever you walk away from loses its control on you. I don't know what or who or what that is for you. But if you're in the season, you got to act. Romans 15, do you know when to embrace or search? Acceptance can create healing. Some seasons require open arms, not closed fists. Stop fighting everybody. Not everybody's against you. There are people that are for you. And what I've learned is that boundaries can protect both people. Constant rescue can prevent real change. Sometimes they gotta hit the rock bottom. And we hope they don't die. I'm almost grateful that my mom was somewhat codependent. Young families ask me all the time, am I supposed to kick them out or let them stay? I said, I can't answer that for you. If you don't let them stay, he dies, then you're gonna be mad at me. But if you let him stay and he makes your life miserable, you're gonna be mad at me. If he steals your money, you're gonna be mad. I can't tell you, gotta make the call. Both sides have arguments. I've seen both things work. Do you know when to refrain? Or do you know when to give up? Do you know when to embrace? I don't know. A hot-tempered person will pay the penalty. Rescue them every time? You have to continue to do it over and over and over again. Help is different than enabling. Constant rescue, like I said, can prevent sometimes real change. I tell the guys all the time, like my last couple treatments, early on in treatment game, everybody came to see me, everybody bought me food. The last couple ones, no one came to see me. And it hurt my feelings. But it forced me to know the other brothers in treatment with me. It forced me to lean into my fellow brothers that were in treatment. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, and it hurt the most. Sometimes the things that hurt the most are actually the best. So I want to do a declaration as the lights come down. And I want to hear you say this real loud if you so choose. And I want to teach you how to speak life, that you are a champion, that you are a world changer, that the best is yet to come. You get around the right people, you're going places. You don't get around people, we all need a cheerleader and a coach. You need somebody to sometimes tell you what time it is. They're not doing it to belittle you, they're doing it to protect you. Don't let somebody stray too long, because if they stray too long, they ain't gonna listen to one word you have to say. They're already too far gone. Real people that care for real people aren't afraid to have a hard conversation. How are you really doing? How are you really craving? What's really going on? How much pain are you really in? How much regret do you really have? How much does it really hurt not to see your kids? What does it feel like to be broke? What does it feel like to have that rap sheet? Let's have a real conversation. So when we have a real conversation, we can go to real places in life. Sometimes it's just S-U-C-K-S. It just sucks. Sometimes that's just the fact. Like you were telling me stuff. It's just not a good situation. But at least I got somebody to talk about it. Because when it wasn't a good situation as a young boy, I didn't have anybody to talk to. So I talked to myself. And I started to reason with myself. Why did this happen to me? As I continued to reason with myself, I continued to spiral into a deeper pit. But when I had enough courage to let somebody else in, and God, my world opened up. With man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. None of this life I'm living today makes any sense. I'm just one grateful person. I'm grateful to have a friend like you that I can almost talk to every day. I'm grateful that you call to check on me and I call to check on you. I'm grateful that your wife texted Sean and I last night and says, you know those flowers you gave me for my sister's celebration of life? My mom would not stop talking about them, and I'm going to get them dried out, and I'm going to put them in a frame, and I'm going to give them to my mom. That's life. That's life. Don't wait for somebody to die to send them flowers. This family Courtney stood with her sister. This man took her down to some Make-A-Wish type stuff and gave her experiences. Give people experiences. No one better than us to do it. You don't have the means to do it, just go do it anyway. Because just your heart in a room alone is enough. I had the privilege of walking around this entire building tonight. And when she started singing the song, I saw a couple, and I apologize. Maybe you don't want to hug me, but I want to hug you. Because I respect you and I honor you for the effort you're putting into your recovery, for the efforts they're putting into their loved ones' recovery and the spouses. But at the end of the day, when I had the privilege of walking around and hugging hundreds of you tonight, when I touched you, I touched greatness. I touched somebody that shouldn't be here. So as we declare this, I want hell to hear it. That in this season, no other season in the past, I ain't playing around. Life is short. People are dying. Some of overdoses, some to cancer, some to old age, some to freak accidents. People are dying. We're alive, so let's start living. Let's start living. And how I learned how to live is being around people like you. And the cool thing is my son in his mid-20s absolutely loved. Last week, Elijah took pictures. He came to the meeting anyway. He ain't even in recovery. Because he loves being around people like you too. We're good people. We're talented people. We can do some things. And we give God the glory when we do it. So let's do this. Say, let's do this. Oh, you ain't loud enough. Say, let's do this. That ain't loud enough. Let's do this. I will discern when to clear space, when to rebuild. I will know when to draw close, when to step back. I will search with purpose and release what no longer serves me. I will walk in wisdom, in every season. Every season. Let's give God a hand. But maybe this is hard for you, because it's hard for me. And most likely, all of us have misread a season. While all of us tonight don't want to transition into a new season. So, time to scatter stones. Are you holding on to a relationship or an environment that is harming your growth? Do you ignore the warning signs that called you to actually create distance? Are you afraid to create space when space is necessary? Gathering stones. Did you isolate when you should have went for support? Well, that's all of us. Did pride keep you from reconnecting and restoring what actually mattered? Did you delay rebuilding after tearing something down because you don't think you're worthy? Time to embrace. Did you keep emotional distance when closeness was needed? Did fear prevent you from trusting again? Did you withhold encouragement or grace when somebody needed it? A time to refrain from embracing. Did you enable behavior that required boundaries? Ooh, this next one. This is me. Did you confuse loyalty with wisdom? How many of us have been loyal to our own demise? Did you stay connected to something that was weakening you? A time to search. Did you stop pursuing growth too soon? Did you settle instead of seeking clarity or truth? Did comfort replace curiosity? Steve Skowronek, God rest his soul, his shoes and his leather jacket, we will forever save his seat. He's in heaven now. And he said this to me, I'm curious. I'm curious about this God you talk about. And his curiosity built him the strongest relationship I've ever really seen anybody have with God. It was really simple. It was founded in the 12-step, and he called Jesus JC. He calls my mentor, who's a bishop, the Pope. He gets it all whacked out. Are you clinging to something or someone that clearly isn't working? Did ego keep you from releasing control? Did you mistake stubbornness for strength? Where did hesitation, fear, pride, and avoidance distort your timing? What would wiser discernment look like for you now? Misreading a season creates frustration. Discerning a season creates momentum. As we prepare to close, this is my favorite part of the night. Me shutting up and hearing your heart. If you've had a hard time with any of the things that were taught tonight, I'm going to ask you to come up in a couple sentences, share your